History has a strange habit of forgetting the people who helped shape it. Deep beneath the quiet streets of Jamaica Plain rests a forgotten bunker. Hidden inside are old terminals, abandoned research, and a suit of power armor unlike any other found within the United States. Its name was the Porshet-5, or simply the P5. Unlike the rounded American designs produced by West Tech, the Porshet-5 carried the unmistakable influence of German engineering. Inspired by the Kubelwagen and the feared Tiger tank, its armor was built around sharp angular plates intended to deflect incoming rounds while delivering devastating force in close combat. Even its helmet echoed the silhouette of the famous Stahlhelm, making the suit instantly recognizable. But remarkable as the armor was, it is not the reason this bunker became legendary. That honor belongs to the man who built it. His name was Klaus Von Hunt. The earliest terminal recovered from the bunker tells us that Klaus arrived in America as an ambassador of German military science. According to his own notes, the journey was surprisingly luxurious. Whoever arranged his arrival was clearly eager to place their hands on his research, treating the German engineer less like a scientist and more like a visiting monarch. America had prepared a private research bunker beneath Jamaica Plain exclusively for him. There, Klaus was given a single objective: refine the Porshet-5 into an Americanized design suitable for West Tech and eventual mass production. From the way he wrote, Klaus seemed genuinely excited. He believed he had been given all the time he needed to perfect his life's work. He had no idea how little time remained. The second terminal paints a very different picture. Although Klaus often spent his mornings enjoying breakfast at the local diner, the atmosphere around Jamaica Plain had begun to change. Government operatives had quietly replaced members of the staff, preparing for riots and civil unrest brought on by the war. At first, Klaus dismissed the warnings, but before long, even he admitted the paranoia had become impossible to ignore. The Anchorage campaign had left everyone looking over their shoulder. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Klaus made plans to contact Washington in hopes of acquiring what he referred to only as extra resources. He never explained exactly what those resources were, but the following entries begin to answer that question. Not far beyond the town stood a military checkpoint. One day, Klaus decided to introduce himself to the American soldiers stationed there. Unfortunately, his timing could not have been worse. A civilian attempted to force their vehicle through the checkpoint. The confrontation ended exactly as one might expect during the final months before the Great War. Amidst the chaos, however, Klaus noticed something unexpected. One of the soldiers spoke German. The young man's name was Monroe. He came from Drusselstein, a town where military police regularly operated while wearing Porsche-5 power armor. For the first time since arriving in America, Klaus had found a small reminder of home. By the end of his journal entry, he had already decided that the following morning, he would return with nothing more than a cup of coffee. Sometimes history isn't shaped by great battles. Sometimes it's remembered through simple acts of kindness. Then came July 7th, 2077. According to Klaus, every number in the date was a 7. He jokingly called it a lucky day. It would prove to be anything but. After an exhausting conversation with Dr. Stanislaus Braun, Klaus finally managed to acquire experimental cryogenic technology. Braun, whom Klaus described as both brilliant and infuriating, had reluctantly helped secure access to equipment that could preserve a human body for centuries. To Klaus, the machine represented something far greater than scientific curiosity. It was an insurance policy. The soldiers surrounding Jamaica Plain had begun speaking openly about the growing tensions with China. Klaus believed war was no longer a possibility. It was inevitable. His Porshet-5 project was finally complete, but he refused to submit it, not until he understood how to keep the cryogenic chamber alive. It was the last problem he intended to solve. He never got the chance. Then, the bombs fell. The final terminal is remarkably different from all the others. Gone is the optimistic engineer who arrived in America dreaming of technological progress. In his place is a frightened man, desperately trying to save whoever he still could. The soldiers and government agents outside rushed toward his bunker as nuclear fire consumed the horizon. Klaus sealed the entrance. Only 3 people made it inside. Among those missing was Monroe. Whether that had ever been his real name? Klaus never knew. Realizing the world above had ended, Klaus made one final decision. He would enter the cryogenic pod himself. The remaining supplies would be left to the soldiers sheltering beside him. As long as the fusion reactor continued supplying power, he believed he would awaken in the year 5000, 2,923 years later. His final recorded words carried one last glimpse of the humor he never completely lost. "See you in 2,923 years, you communist dummkops." And then, silence. For over 2 centuries, no one entered the bunker until the sole survivor arrived. What they found appeared to be Klaus Von Hunt standing silently in his Porshet-5 power armor. But appearances can be deceiving. The armored figure was never Klaus at all. It was a synth, standing motionless before the cryogenic pod, waiting patiently for the real Klaus Von Hunt to awaken so that it could kill him before he ever stepped into the new world, without realizing it. The sole survivor may have saved the creator of the Porshet-5, not by opening the cryogenic chamber, but by destroying the one thing waiting outside it. Some stories are remembered because they changed history. Others survive only because someone was willing to search beneath the ruins. Perhaps this was one of them.